Call this Altoona City Council meeting to order Monday, July 13th at 6 p.m. Now have a moment of silent prayer. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Linda, would you take the roll call, please?
Councilman Beatty.
Here.
Councilman Butterbaugh.
Here.
Councilwoman Klinich.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ellis.
Here.
Councilman Ickes.
Here.
Councilman Kelly is absent. Mayor Pacifico.
Here. Our presentation is going to be postponed until next month. Want to announce the council had an executive session to discuss personnel and real estate. And with that, we will now open the floor for public comment. If anybody would like to address council, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Floor is now open.
Well, after this weekend, I was absolutely blown away for what the city did, police department, fire department, Chris, Altoona mayor. There must be other mayor. You must have been involved some way. I just couldn't believe the crowd in the police department, how kind they were to people, giving them information. Same way with the fire department. And I was just blown away. And I got to give kind of regretting, but Norfolk Southern, they really come to the front. They are arrogant, and they are arrogant, for sure. No question about it. When Conrail was formed, I had the opportunity to come here in April 1977. There were 6 or 7 other places that I could have chose to come, but thank God that I come to Altoona, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Good evening. My name's Tony Deely, and for nearly 41 years I've lived at 100 Wordsworth Avenue in the city of Altoona. I need to bring to the leadership of what we showed everybody last week is a great city to take charge of a situation, addressing a situation that exists that's critical and needs immediate attention. There is a terribly dangerous situation of falling trees. They could be falling while we're here right now. It's a little bit of a neighborhood sport to listen for the cracking branches. And it's the right-of-way for an undeveloped West Holmes Avenue that was never developed into a street, covered with utility lines and a lot of really enormous trees that are starting to fall down. I think the main trigger was, besides their age, is a couple years ago, the Water Authority had to do some sewer line work, and even though I met with them and objected that they were going to disrupt the roots here, they assured me they'd meet with me and would discuss what they were going to do. Well, they got the work done while I was away for a week. Next year, enormous tree in front of that person's house, bam, down. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. If the little girl would have been on her swing, should have probably been an obituary. 2 years later, enormous tree up on the hill right now. It's down at about a 45-degree angle or so because it's slowly taking down other trees that are on this hill. The real disturbing thing for me is that the trees that are potentially going to go down could, at an absolute minimum, could destroy our house, let alone kill us. And I am not complaining about anybody here. Nate Kissel and Steve Walker and a couple other people I've talked to have been phenomenal. I think they do a tremendous job. They had somebody out there a couple weeks ago taking care of a dangerous tree situation. they're not, they're great. It's a huge piece of change, and you're not going to pull $500,000 out of thin air. But if it's not addressed, if you're lucky, you'll get off with $300,000 or so in property damage. If you're not lucky, people are going to be hurt or killed. And Penelec's aware of the situation. I know Nate's been working with them. They're dealing with other issues as well. This massive tree needs to be laid down, but they're not going to do it just by, through luck. I mean, it's inaccessible. Something has to be done because the tree guy that was out there from Penelec pointed out to my wife and I one large tree after another that is either dead or dying and uprooting and splitting. And we're going to have a major problem soon. I hope that's not me. No. But, yep, so I hope to hear from somebody with some active response. This is, it's like this, folks. We're on public record now. If it starts coming, they start coming down hurting people without reaction from the city, to my dying day, I will do everything within the legal system to make your lives a living hell. My grandchildren's lives are at risk, and this needs addressed. Please take care of it starting tomorrow. Maybe talk about it this evening before you go home. It needs dealt with. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I submitted a $1,000 bid for 1314 North 4th Avenue.
Excuse me, could you give your name and address, please?
Yes, my name's Franklin Reed Jr. My address is 113 West 11th Avenue. The address I'm speaking about now that I placed a $1,000 bid for is 1314 North 4th Avenue. I believe this property has real value, and I want to continue investing in our community. I was born and raised here. I own property here. I'm a local landlord, and I operate a small business that serves residents throughout the area. I also want to be transparent about my plans for the property. Next month, I have a zoning hearing regarding my existing properties that are adjacent to this property. And if that application is approved, I plan to incorporate the parcel into my business property as it continues to grow. If the zoning application is not approved, I would then explore building on the property in a manner that complies with all city requirements. Either way, my intention is the same: to improve the property, invest in it, ensure it becomes a positive asset for the neighborhood rather than sitting vacant. I respectfully ask the council to consider not only the plans being discussed today, but also the fact that I have made a substantial higher offer of $1,000 compared to the other bid of $250. I believe my offer reflects both the value of the property and my commitment to this community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Devin Saylor, 1515 25th Avenue. Guys, I just wanted to come up here again and just talk, maybe even start a dialogue as it relates again to the homeless ordinance that was passed here, or the urban camping ordinance rather, that was passed here just several months ago. For me, there are things within this ordinance that I can agree with, like people laying within the doorsteps of businesses and so on. I think that's a fine part of the ordinance. But for me, what I don't get and I can't get behind is an ordinance that could potentially criminalize someone for doing the crime of sitting on the sidewalk or laying on a bench. For me personally, I don't see the value in that. I think you're really just making a bad situation for somebody potentially worse. My understanding is that this has not been enforced yet. And to be honest with you, I don't understand why put forth an ordinance if you don't intend to use it or if it's not going to be in use or in effect. So for me, I think the solution here, in my mind, would be to repeal that section of the ordinance in the not so distant future. And in addition to that, provide more public amenities. I think it would help a lot with having more benches. I mean, I don't see too many people sleeping on benches, but in the event that there was someone there, maybe it would be advantageous to have more seating options for people as they traverse downtown or any other of the highly trafficked areas across the city. In addition to trash cans, which is something I've talked about in the past because I think it really helps with litter, provided that you have the staff to maintain those trash cans. And if I may just add one more thing to it, I think the city of Altoona has branded itself a city of hope. And I think that if we want to be a city of hope, if we want to give hope to people, then, we have to offer them as many opportunities as we possibly can. And for our homeless community as well. So with that being said, I would ask for the council to consider repealing sections of that ordinance and working actively to provide public amenities. And also, maybe I'd misread the article. I don't know who did the article. Was that you, Bill? If I could inspire some people, not just here, because obviously you guys are doing the work. I don't disagree with that. I don't think the city does a horrible job at dealing with homelessness. But as a community, if we could work to see these people out in the community and help them and not just walk around them. So
I got 2 homeless people removed off the street Wednesday. What did you do for homeless people?
right. Well Matt,
Other than
Matt,
trying to flood the
Matt-
streets, the Sailor for the Tent City campaign is just immoral. While we're actually, the mean city council is actually helping homeless people get off the streets, you're trying to put as many people on the streets. Like, it's just not what Altoona wants or needs.
Can I have my 10 seconds back? Because okay, yeah, Matt. Again, I didn't say that the city does a bad job when I even ended that by saying that I don't think the city necessarily does a horrible job of doing that. I just think that ordinance in particular isn't really benefiting or helping the problem in any way, shape, or form. I've fed the homeless and I've done things within the community. Maybe not in the past couple of days, but I've definitely done that before. So I think that's a very bold criticism to make, but I appreciate it.
Well,
and
a
thank you
bold
guys.
criticism is the council is just walking around the homeless people while you're fraudulently pretending you're helping.
I believe I believe maybe there's been a misunderstanding.
No,
here.
there's not.
No, I'm
We
saying
completely understand this situation completely.
no. I think you misunderstood what I had said. I wasn't saying that you guys walk around them. I'm just saying
That's
that
exactly what
No,
you
I'm
said.
saying I think that there are people within the community, including myself, inspiring other individuals to go up and not just walk around these people when we see them in the community.
And
I
people
wasn't saying
deserve
that you
better
guys were.
than to be handed a sleeping bag or a tent.
All right.
They deserve better.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Autumn Temple. I live on North 4th Avenue in Altoona. I'm here today to express my support for Frank Reed and his repository bid for the property at 1314 16th Ave, or North 131416 North 4th Avenue. You're probably all aware of Rafe Bailey. He left our city with numerous eyesores. I happen to live beside one of Rafe's previous rentals. I have to say the new investor has done nothing to improve the property. It's still an eyesore and it's vacant. Frank purchased land previously owned by Rafe. Having lived on North 4th Avenue for the past 25 plus years, I have to say that this piece of land located beside the land that he submitted a repository bid for has never looked as nice. It demonstrates his thoughtful investment in our community and an opportunity to bring new life and improved appearance to the neighborhood. Frank is committed to community improvement. He's the owner of 2 rentals that are maintained well both on the interior and the exterior. He also lives less than 1 mile from the property at stake and is committed to the area improvement. I respectfully ask that the board to consider the positive impact that the proposal can have to approve the bid for 131416 North 4th Avenue. I believe it's a sound decision that will benefit the neighborhood as a whole, and I thank you for your consideration. And I also want to say you guys did an excellent job with the train stuff, the eyesore on Chestnut Avenue. Our trains will all be gone next week, and the people that were here will not really see the business at Norfolk Southern, but the city in itself and your employees. Like, you did an excellent job. So thanks.
My name is Harriet Gaston. I live at 302 2nd Avenue in Altoona. The reason I'm up here is I have noticed for many years when I'm on Pleasant Valley Boulevard at the Weiss Market, and then I turn to go up that mountain. The South 5th Street from Pleasant Valley Boulevard to about Crawford is narrow, much more narrow than when you pass Crawford going down that hill. I have a Nissan Sentra, but if I saw two F-150s coming down, I think one of them would be in the ditch. One going one way and one going the other way. So if it is just throwing out there, if eminent domain or whatever policy to widen that street, I think would be helpful to those of us who are using that to get to somewhere, whether it's the homeowners or someone, as I said, coming off of Weiss Market.
Ms. Gaston, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the street that,
South 5th Street.
South Fifth, thank you.
Is there any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will close the floor and move into the resolutions.
Item A is approving the minutes of the Altoona City Council meeting held Monday, June the 8th. Item B is approving a contract for police services with the Altoona Housing Authority for the period of June 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, and authorizing the city manager to execute all documents and for the city clerk to attest to same. Item C is approving the submission of a multimodal transportation fund grant application to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the 7th Street Streetscape project with a total project cost of $1,066,919.84 and a 10% local match of $106,691.98 and a grant request amount of $960,227.86, and further authorizing the city manager to execute all documents and the city clerk to attest to same. Item D is approving a repository bid in the amount of $250 for property located at 1314 to 16 North 4th Avenue to John 4 of Apple Lane, and further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item E is approving a repository bid in the amount of $1,000 for property located at 1314 to 16 North 4th Avenue to Franklin Reed Jr. of 113 West 11th Avenue, and further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Item F is approving a repository bid. There's a few bids in the amount of $1,000 for 3175 to 77 Spruce Avenue, $1,599.36 for property located at 1513 to 1515 North 6th Avenue, and for property $2,699.97 for property at 417 to 19 South 8th Street to Chloe DeMonge of Long Beach, California, and further authorizing the city manager to execute the taxing district form. Are there any additions, deletions, or anything that needs pulled for separate vote?
Yes, I'd like to pull D, E, and F.
D.
F speaks for itself. D and E, I did get to speak with both of you, a couple times today, and had some excellent conversations. And what you have is a situation where two different well-intentioned people, unbeknownst to one another, purchase properties around this property. And so there's good plans by both, but there is some pending things going on with the zoning hearing board, as was aforementioned. So I would like to suggest that we table D and E and take the opportunity to sort it out. Let's see what the zoning hearing board says, and let's see if we can't sort this out in an amicable fashion rather than just make a vote now that, we don't want to do the wrong thing. We don't want to take any chances one way or the other, respectfully. And so if we could table D and E, and then I also pulled F as, for the same reasons I always do.
Okay, I'm going to call for the consent vote first on items A, B, and C. Okay? Councilman Beatty,
Yes.
Butterball,
Yes.
Councilwoman Klinich,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ellis,
Yes.
Councilman Ickes,
Yes.
and Councilman Kelly is absent. Mayor Pacifico.
Yes.
And the consent vote passes 6-0. Then we have motion by Councilman Butterball to table items D and E. Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
These resolutions were motioned by Councilman Butterball, seconded by Councilwoman Klinich.
I have a couple of questions. With us tabling this, does this impact Mr. Reed's time before the zoning hearing board at all on his properties? It does not?
No, because that's other property.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, the zoning hearing board he's involved with has nothing to do with this
Okay.
property.
Then why are we tabling it if it has nothing to do with this property?
Because he doesn't know what they're going to decide about the other one that's beside it yet.
Going in front of the zoning hearing
He's
board for
saying this
property
one
contiguous to
particular
this
one.
one?
Yeah.
All in favor to table, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed?
I'm opposed.
The vote passes 5-1. Okay. That's it.
Okay, city manager updates.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I need to
sorry.
do
Still F.
item
Oh,
F.
yeah.
Almost forgot item F.
Can't forget
So
that.
you asked for that to be pulled for separate vote. Item F is the approving the repository bids for Chloe DeMonge of Long Beach, California. Councilman Beatty,
No.
Councilman Butterball,
No.
Councilwoman Klinich,
No.
Vice Mayor Ellis,
No.
Councilman Ickes,
No.
and Councilman Kelly is absent. Mayor Pacifico,
No.
and the vote does not pass.
Now city manager updates. Chris?
Thank you, everybody that made the kind comments about the city staff involved in all the work for the Big Boy event. I'd like to personally thank all the city staff because it literally touched every single department in the city to make this event successful as it was. I think one of the bigger takeaways, and Adam and Nate can attest to this, was the ability to stand up the incident command post for 4 operational periods. It's not something that we get to do on a normal basis. We're fortunate that we're not in a disaster-prone area, but the ability to sit at the table with our county partners, our local municipal partners, and our state partners, I think puts us in a much better position that if we do have a full-scale event, that we've made all the connections and we know who the players are that we're working with. So thank you to everybody, and thank you for the county and all the municipalities that worked hand in hand with us for a successful event.
Thank you. Okay, council discussion. Yeah, so I'd like to first start by saying 2 weeks ago we had the July 4th race, which feels like forever ago now. That went really well. We had a great crowd downtown on the night before. The race went really well. And then, of course, this past week we had tremendous success with the Big Boy visit. We welcomed 75,000 visitors to the city. Everything went smooth. Everybody had a great experience here. Police, fire, hats off to you guys. All of the first responders, codes, Nate, Rebecca. I know both of your departments were working full steam ahead, pun intended there, to make this this last week really special. Jamie did an amazing job on Main Street, printing out business guides, making sure that all the hotels had those so that all of our visitors knew what was going on in downtown. Everything ran smooth. Everybody that was here, all the comments that I've seen on Facebook from our out-of-town, out-of-state visitors had a wonderful experience. I saw a lot of comments of people talking about planning return trips, so that's really positive, and we're glad that we could deliver on that. I kind of spoke ad nauseum on this already to Bill and other reporters, but yeah, I'll kind of just end there. So with that, Councilman Ickes.
Thank you, Mayor. No, definitely a fun July, if you will, here on America's 250th in the city. 4th of July race, I had a chance to run it this year. I ran the 5K this year with my son, who's 7, who happened to get 3rd in his age group. So it was nice to see. I have a picture of the mayor handing my son his gold medal as he takes the podium, so thank you for that.
How far behind him were you?
I made sure he pulled ahead. So Big Boy was a tremendous success. Truth be told, I really do have regrets not going to see the train at the staging areas, but we were able to be at a undisclosed location Saturday morning with a couple of other 1,000 people, and we had some really nice views that day. People from South Carolina, Mississippi, just really amazing to, kind of take a step back in time and realize the nostalgia and the effect that the railroad had not only on the entire world, but especially Altoona, PA. I definitely think it's worth pointing out that although, the county was, I guess, this is part of a county planning event, kudos to our staff people, city manager, police, fire, public works, etc. Ultimately, the boots on the ground, if you will, was the city. So thank you for your work in all of this, and definitely hoping. I mean, Big Boy's welcome in Altoona, PA at any point in time, but it would be nice for us to have an annual or every other year event involving the railroad here, because clearly there's a tremendous demand for it. And then I believe this weekend is Hoops Fest, downtown Altoona, which I believe is Saturday, all day. So I believe it's one of the largest 3-on-3 basketball tournaments. Not a basketball guy, but obviously we'll have a lot of people in downtown, and I am about that. So,
And
thank
this
you
year
very
they
much.
got Dick's Sporting Goods as a presenting sponsor.
Oh, nice.
so
That's
was
great.
nice.
Real great. Real quick question regarding staff on one of the items of public comment here. The situation involving, sir, is your last name Dealey? Dealey, is that how you say it?
Yes.
How long just curious, what's the timeline been involved in kind of communications with him involving this?
The timeline on the trees right now?
No, 1 second, sir. Just curious, how long have we been in dialogue with this taking place? Ballpark.
How long have you been talking to people about the trees?
Well, I started doing my share to start to maintain the property and asked the city for help 40 years ago.
This is actually the 5th tree that has come down on our property alone.
Yeah.
And I actually have the book that shows it on my property right now that isn't being dealt with, that we're gonna have to deal with. We've spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get these trees removed once they fall on my property. This is the 2nd tree that has taken out my fence and almost taken out my my sunroom. It's still laying there, and, I'm like fed up with spending my money to take care of something that should be done.
And the only consistent message over 4 decades that I have received from the city is that, hey, it was an unopened right of way, half of it's your responsibility, half of it's the neighbor's responsibility. Well, when I looked into it, there's a lot of legalities, a lot of documents have to be filed, a lot of attorney fees are gonna have to be paid, a lot of people have to sign off on all this in order to quiet title on a piece of useless ground because there's a gas line, a water line, a sewer line, and all the utility lines going through above. And you're telling me that I'm responsible for my 30 feet of that, and you're telling my neighbors that I should start suing them because these trees that are falling are on their side of the right of way. And if we wanna go down that road, that's fine. I would like 41 years worth of back rent from the water authority, the gas company, the light company. This is all I get zero consideration for anything that goes through that unopened right of way. Yet I do get handed that it's my responsibility to maintain it. You know, you guys started dropping the ball on that 40 years ago when I cleaned up a small landfill there, bagged it all up, and asked Public Works, could they send a truck out to pick it up?
Sir, I understand your frustration, but I've been here for 6 years and I've never heard of this. So that's why I'm asking questions. I appreciate your frustration. I'm just trying to gather information, okay?
After 3 years of being told it's your
I understand that.
responsibility,
But
I'm fed up with it. That's why you're hearing about it now.
that's fine. But you also come in here and then, you know, smash us saying that you're going to sue the hell out of us if there's an issue.
If I don't
So,
get a response
well, I'm
to
trying to get a
you,
response to you, that's all. Nate, can you share your piece of the information, please?
So we came about this about 3 weeks ago where we had a tree. It was a hazard tree. It came in through email, I guess, and it wasn't from Mr. Dealey. It was from a neighbor. And so Steve and I went out and looked at it, and it was split, and it was a hazard tree. It was kind of like bordering the unopened right of way, but it was also sort of on the street side. And so I talked to Rebecca about it, and we have a hazard tree ordinance. It needed to come down, so we just took it down because of it, there were wires everywhere. It was going to end up being a mess, and it was going to come down. It just did that overnight. So I mean, we just sort of happened upon this about 3 weeks ago. I believe Mr. Walker was out, called
Yes, he
in.
was. Very nice man, very
They talked, and then Steve forwarded him on to me, and then we had a conversation about 3 weeks ago. So we went out and looked, and he is correct. There's a substantial amount of large diameter oak pine trees in a unopened right of way that has.
And the consistent answer, like I said, for 4 decades was, no, it's your problem.
And it's the
that
piece
was
that-
reiterated a couple years ago,
And
the
it's the
last time I
piece that
called in.
wraps around the back part of the property. I was looking on the app.
It runs from Ruskin down
Yeah.
over.
Okay.
So what we had talked about was this, just, I needed to do some more digging into it to see what utilities actually did exist in that right of way. So I had the Water Authority send me some mapping, and then we got some stormwater mapping. So that's where we got to on this. And also Penelec, I had talked to their forester to come out and take a look at it and see what he thought, because there was a tree that had come down onto the lines. And then they ran into a bunch of stuff down east, and crews just went that way. So that's kind of where we're at.
So there is the possibility at some point we may have a partnership of some kind of help via utilities or something of that nature.
Perhaps. I think Penelec typically just takes care of it once it comes down, when it gets to that point. It's a secondary line, it's not a primary line, so they don't typically force secondaries.
Thank you.
I mean, I've reached the
That's all
point,
I
I
have.
pay people to mow my lawn, and I've had to tell them the part of the unopened right-of-way that I've been maintaining for 4 years. I had to tell them to quit mowing that part of the lawn, because if you're mowing a lawn, you don't hear the tree snap and fall. I've stood there and watched it happen over the last few weeks. So, I mean, it is, this tree that's leaning, you hear it cracking and moving, it's gonna come down, and it's probably gonna hit somebody's house. And there's dead trees, the 50-foot tree that's laying across our fence, that, again, I haven't heard anybody volunteering saying, hey, that's on my side of the right of way, I'll take care of the bill for you. It's the little sister of the other half of the tree. The big brother is up there waiting to fall too. So this is urgent. And I'm just saying, I've had 40 years of no. I'm done with no. And if I have to be obnoxious and aggressive and say, yeah, I'll tie you up in court all I can, yeah, with no apologies.
Thank you, sir. As Councilman Nichols pointed out, I know this is the first I heard of this issue too, so
I
we will,
understand, because
we will,
the city's policy, the state mandated that the regulation of this comes to the city, so they pass the buck to you.
right.
And the city says, well, it goes to the people who are on the right of way. So they pass the buck to us.
All right, so
And
we,
I know there was a court case a few years back where a tree fell and hit somebody's car, and it was all settled out of court, and nobody knows what the details were, but it was evidently the city, the insurance company, and the homeowner, maybe, that were all involved in that. And it's
Right.
just, come on, we gotta be open, we gotta say what needs dealt with, and we need fixed. And I have been incredibly more encouraged and more optimistic in the last few weeks about this because of talking to Nate,
Okay.
because of talking to Steve Walker. It's just, I think you guys, I don't, like I said, I don't expect you guys to say, oh, yeah, we can get 500 grand here, no problem. I'm saying, I wanna be part of the solution, I wanna help. If you
Okay.
need letters written, if you need neighbors to turn out, if you need phone calls made, stuff like that. I wanna be part of the solution, because it's not fun, and, I need your help.
Okay, well, I assure you that Mr. Kissel and his staff will follow up on this, and if they don't, please don't hesitate to call any
I
of us, all
have
right?
no doubt he will. I
Okay.
was a little snippy this morning, perhaps, because I had forgotten that, I just lost sight of the fact that you guys were consumed with something big.
It was a little-
Thank you, Mr. Daly. We appreciate it. We got to move on, though.
Okay,
Thank you.
you guys ask questions, and I'm gonna answer.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I've caused enough trouble.
You sure? You done now?
Let's get this
You good?
back on the track. Yeah, they're ditto what's been said. Well, our manager got an earful from me Friday afternoon before all the train stuff was even over. Like, it just thanking our staff and the mayor. These guys have been just so involved over a number of months. Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern. A couple of things that really impressed me was just seeing how well everybody worked together. And to see how well the first responders from the city and from the township, the folks from the county, and just how well everybody worked together to do that. But I think one of the coolest things was also seeing all the people come from everywhere to our area. And one of the things that just really impressed me the most, like this past weekend, I got to see visitors admire things that those of us who've lived here our whole lives take for granted. And they got to come here, and we got to see them, and admire that stuff with us. And so that was a real blessing there too. Also, on another note, to switch gears here, I would like to thank our police department, and I know the mayor and some council folks have been working on this. I visited with the neighbors up at Izzy Park. They came to the last council meeting, and things have subsided there. It has been peaceful there, and the neighbors were really pleased to see just normal basketball games going on, normal kids playing in the park, and everything being much more peaceful. And so thanks a lot for all the effort put in there. And I believe that's everything. Thanks a lot for all your work, guys. You guys rocked it, to say the least.
Thank you. Councilman Ellis.
Yes, I'll start with thanking the staff, the entire staff. It takes everybody to be involved in what occurred here last week. So thank you to all of you. I also want to point out that there is Hoops Fest this weekend, and I believe the following Saturday is the Juniata Civics Association Festival in Juniata. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Beatty.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to quite a few people that were in town for the event, for the Big Boy event. And I was really pleased with how orderly and how well the visitation was scheduled over at the viewing point over on 8 Rose Yard. Union Pacific and the city and the fire department, the police department, highway, everybody did their part, and Jamie, of course, did a great job with the downtown. I really like the fact that the flowers were up, everything was well trimmed. I mean, the city looked really good, and I think that it was an all-out effort. I did get a chance to talk to the engineer from the Big Boy, Ed Dickens, and explained to him that, my grandparents both worked in the railroad, and there's a lot of history here that we all appreciate. And I wanted to take an opportunity, the K4, if we could get it restored, we could run it a couple times a year and do these type of excursions. And I think that it would be in the community's best interest to really step up and get that taken care of. The Railroaders Museum, I think, did a beautiful job on the coordinating of the banquet out at the Blair County Convention Center. Dave Butterbaugh and I went up to Horseshoe Curve on Saturday morning, and there were people there from Connecticut, all through New England. There were
Norway.
people from one
Yeah,
person
Norway.
from Norway. I mean, that's probably the one furthest away.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
might have jettisoned from the World Cup for a day and came to Altoona, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
But people were just so excited to see, it run up Horseshoe Curve, and it was just a beautiful morning. Everybody just acted kindly, needing any direction. I think they were really impressed with the citizens, and I'd like to thank everybody for their hard work. Thank you.
Councilwoman Klinich.
So I'm last, but I'm going to echo everything that everybody said, because I went early Friday morning and took my granddaughter and daughter-in-law, and it was so organized at Rose Yard. And just to see the people, the amount of people coming in, and it was so impressive. I just want to thank everybody that was involved, because it was so nice to see all the people in our city, and not only just the people coming in to visit, but the businesses that also got involved, and people were wearing Tom and Joe's Big Boy t-shirts, and I think they sold out, and they had to order more, and it was just nice to see that in our city. And I just appreciate everybody and every effort that went into making this such a great event. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, speaking on the economic impact piece, I started doing a little bit of non-scientific sort of data collection from local businesses, and all of the reports from everybody has been really positive, and everybody saw a real uptick in business this past week, so that was cool. Questions from the media? Bill, you're up.
Can somebody explain to me the location of the place that Mr. Dealey was talking about, where the trees are falling down?
West Holmes Avenue.
Okay. The Altoona Police contract with the, Altoona Police contract with the Altoona Housing Authority, that's an extension of an existing one, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the 7th Street project, Nate Kissel, that's, yeah, 2 Nates. That's a twin to the one that was already just recently done, right? And it's supposed to be, is that likely, if you get the money, that would be likely done next year?
My guess, Bill, it won't be awarded probably till spring, so it would probably be a 28 project.
Okay.
28, yeah. Not this year, coming next year.
Okay. What are the odds of getting the money?
We hope pretty good.
You get, it was the same program, right, that gave the money for the one that just got done?
No, the one that just got done is all city financed.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not sure who to ask this, but the repository bids, the first 2 that got tabled,
Mhm.
aren't they for the same address?
Yes.
Well, how can that be? I don't get it.
Well, no, you had two people bidding on the same property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you actually have two nice people with nice
Okay,
plans that
okay.
actually bought property around it, and now they're both bidding for it, and they have their different plans, and so rather than make a decision tonight, let's let things settle, because of course he's waiting for a zoning hearing board decision on a property next to it.
Mhm.
So that may depict what happens next. So rather than make a quick decision and take any chances, let's just woe up and make sure everything's done right.
Okay, well, the rival developers have, the other properties that they're interested in are two separate
Yeah, both
properties,
own
right?
properties there.
But they're
yes.
both nearby but separate? The-
Yes.
From this one single property that
Yes.
they're both bidding on? Okay, got it. And then, I'm not sure who to ask on this, what led to the Isolino Park improvements, improving the situation, I guess?
We just had extra patrols going down there, different times of the day, making contact with the residents, that kind of thing.
And you think it's like permanently better now, or at least long-term better, or?
We'll keep up with it.
Okay. That's all I have,
Bill,
thanks.
Bill, we also had a discussion with Mike Hofer from CBRC and asked him to go out and make some recommendations. So we're waiting on that,
To make recommendations, like what kind of recommendations?
on what he thinks we can do to better secure the facility out there. There were some suggestions made by the folks that were here, and we want to get his opinion of that as a professional.
Do you mean like change the landscape there?
Or the way things are structured.
Just the
those kind of
configuration of it. It is disconnected, really, if you think about it, because it's two parcels separated by, and that are on two different blocks that have an alley running between them, so, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there was, I saw the one after that last meeting. There's a second part of it?
Yeah, there's a basketball court on one end, there's an alley, and then there's like a tot lot. So we want to take a look at that for safety purposes.
Yeah, the basketball court's on Oak Avenue, and then you have like the tot lot on Maple Avenue, and then the alley in between.
What was the trouble on both of them, or just on one?
Yeah, but also to, throw some more thank yous at our police department. This has been trouble. Like, I know they've had some over by the school with, and things like that. And there's been other areas too. So their work has really been citywide on these issues. It's not just Izzy Park. That was one good thing that came of their work, but they've done a lot of work on some of this other stuff. And some of them, has been the same typical round up the usual suspects, just doing the same thing at various places.
Yeah, we would be, I think it's fair to say that obviously the successful arrests of some of these perpetrators have been probably the biggest assistance, so thank you.
Yeah, we've had conversations too, Bill, with the school district, because they were seeing it. They're seeing, they're obviously seeing it. So kind of working with them to figure out a game plan here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.